Okay, what we learned this past week in the National Football League, we will start kind of a little backwards here. We'll go with the Sunday night matchup. The Dallas Cowboys fell again to the San Francisco 49ers. I believe they're like 0-4 in their last four matchups, if I'm not mistaken. Cowboys coming off a bye week. I will say this initially in the first quarter, maybe first half, I would say I'll give them some credit. They looked actually prepared for once, but in the end, the Niners were just too much for them, and the Cowboys struggled and they lose again. And then on top of that, they were coming off of a 38-point loss at home going into the bye to the Lions, and then they come back on the road, open up with San Francisco, and you just don't get the job done. Now, a lot of people will say in Cowboy Nation, listen, it's a culmination of a lot of things: injuries, poor coaching, the ultimate setup of the team. Either way, this is not a good football team. It's apparent this is not a good football team. It's not coached very well offensively or defensively. No matter who's in the who's in the lineup there, it doesn't really matter. And now I believe they were third in the standings, and they're about 2.5 games behind the Eagles and the Washington Commanders, who pulled off that miraculous Hail Mary completion to beat the Bears this past Sunday. But they're really looking up, and the gap. And honestly, it's 2.5 or 2 games. It might as well be 10 games because the way Philly is starting to figure things out, obviously Washington is doing their thing. They're continuing to win. So if the Cowboys don't figure it out soon, the Giants may come back and surpass them. And then the Cowboys will end up probably being the fourth team in that particular division. Do I see that happening? I don't know. At this point, I don't know. This team is just not really a good team. They continue to struggle offensively, defensively. Let's talk about the offense side of things. Dak did not play good again. I don't know what it is with the San Francisco 49ers defense and him. He has some of the most boneheaded interceptions that you can think of. He's just not playing well. He's as simple as that. And now I get it. A lot of it has to do with they don't have a lot of talent on the team. Other than CeeDee Lamb outside, who else can you say is a staple as an offensive threat for the Cowboys? Nobody. I keep seeing in Cowboys Nation in the tea leaves, oh, Zeke is ready to roll. Look, people, it's over for Zeke. He's not the same Zeke. He's washed. I don't care how many attempts he gets. They can't block for him. He's not that elusive or powerful or fast as he once was before. This guy is not going to provide any type of value whatsoever to your offense, period. Offensive line is just shambles. The kid they drafted out of Oklahoma, he looked like he can't even block. Right? Terrence Steele is continuously getting beat. And on top of that, you know that he's not playing well. So let's just man him up against Nick Bosa, right? And not provide any help to him. So that's bad coaching as well. Defensively, I know they were out without two of their main edge rushers and Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence, but honestly, would that have mattered much? It wouldn't have. I mean, they've lost to them even with those guys there. Donovan Wilson, what happened to this guy? I don't even know. It's like he doesn't even know how to play football anymore. Trayvon Diggs is arguing with reporters after the game, where you can clearly see in the clip he kind of made a business decision, right? He kind of reluctantly ran down there and made the tackle, which wasn't questioned by the reporter. But this team is just full of divas and egotistical, self-absorbed players where they can't even take criticism, right? Earlier in the week, Troy Aikman criticized the receivers for not running routes very crisp. Matter of fact, he said they were lazy. And then guys like Kevontae Turpin, oh, you know what you're talking about, basically. And then you drop essentially a ball that could have continued your drive, maybe would give you a chance to win the game in the end, and he drops it on which was a really good throw by Dak, right? So this is not a good football team. This is not a good football team, and the defense is a shell of themselves. I don't know what else to do from here. Coaching sucks. Ownership is terrible, and the play on the field is abominable. So, what did we learn? It's what we already knew, and I keep telling us about the Cowboys. We're not really learning anything else other than the fact that we're learning more than the fact that they just are really bad, and it doesn't look good. I mean, they got a tough schedule up ahead. I believe they got Atlanta and a couple other divisional games here in the near future. So I don't know what to say about them anymore. But this team overall is just not playing really good football, and it's not going to get any better for them. So Dallas Cowboys fans, Cowboy Nation, you guys are going to be pretty much in depression the rest of the way for the season. All right, from one sorry team to another sorry ass team, and that's the New York Jets. They fell on the road to New England, a game in which, if you watched a lot of NFL talk or listened to the radio, a lot of people were probably joking, oh, the Patriots might win this game, but no one really believed that. But you know what? The Jets said, you know what? Hold my beer. We're going to lose to the Patriots, right? And they did. Now they are coming. They're not coming. They're actually currently on a 5-game losing streak. And right now, arguably, they're probably the biggest bust of the 2024 season. You look back on all the moves that they've made recently, going back to last year, getting Aaron Rodgers, him getting hurt. Then you fast forwarding to this year, you fire your head coach, you make coaching changes with the offensive coordinator. You bring in Devontae Adams, who is really unimpactful so far in his 2 games as a New York Jet, and they can't get it done. Game management is a problem, right? They can't figure out when to call timeouts, how to call timeouts. The special teams, the kicking game is atrocious. Greg Zuerlein, especially you Cowboys fans, you guys know about him and his exploits, where huge leg, but the guy can't hit the side of Empire State Building if he needed him to, right? So no accuracy there. The defense is not what we thought it was or should be going into this year. Sauce Gardner is giving up tons of big plays, which we're not accustomed to them doing, right? For his first couple years, we're like, okay, not giving up any touchdowns, didn't give up a whole lot of touchdowns in college. Same thing kind of trended over into the National Football League. And now this guy's giving up huge plays left and right now. And Hassan Reddick played a little bit, really didn't have any impact on that game whatsoever. Granted, he's been out the whole year. But still, this team just really isn't a good football team. Now, a lot of it could be blamed on Aaron Rodgers, rightfully so. They pretty much made every move that he's pretty much asked for. Right. And I'll tell you this time and time again, the Jets really screwed up by making themselves beholden to Aaron Rodgers. I don't know what it is. I was talking to my cousin and I was telling him, listen, Aaron Rodgers is cursed, man. I don't know what it is about the guy, but there's something about him where you look at his time, the way it ended in Green Bay, some of the situations that happened with him, between him and Matt LaFleur. And then you see what Jordan Love is doing now. It's not unprecedented to say that something he's just cursed, man. I don't know what it is, honestly. I can't even fathom what else to say. But this team is definitely not going to win this division. I thought they were going to make the playoffs. A couple of weeks ago, I had a Real or Nah where I asked, are the Jets a playoff team? Absolutely not. Absolutely not anymore. You can't beat the Patriots, and no offense to Patriots fans, but you guys really aren't a good football team either. And you lose. And now, again, it's not all on Aaron Rodgers, but I said it before, even going into last year, he is not the same guy. He's 40 years old, coming off an Achilles. He's already banged up. He has no mobility. I feel like he's just throwing the ball up there sometimes because he can't run and go get the first down like he was able to do when he was younger, about 10 years ago. So they put all their faith in this one guy, and they're no better than what they were last year with Zach Wilson and the other carousel of quarterbacks that they rolled in there last year. The Jets probably just need to trick off the rest of the season and get in the market and get another quarterback. And if Aaron Rodgers doesn't accept that, then you give him his walking papers at the end of the season and say, listen, we're going to draft a quarterback, whether you like it or not. And if you don't like it, cool, you can get up out of here, retire, do what you got to do. But we're not going to be beholden to you anymore because we feel like you're part of the problem. And I get it. The Jets are a dysfunctional organization anyway. But then you add Aaron Rodgers and all the things that he had been asking for. It's just a melting pot of dysfunctionality. I'm not even sure if that's a word. I think it is. But either way, it sounds good. But, Jeff Ulbrich, whatever you want to call him, he's in over his head too. He's not really a head coach, guys. So not only are they going to need a head coach in the offseason, they're going to need a quarterback. They got a whole bunch or plethora of issues that they need to settle going into 2025 season, because the 2024 season is for the most part over. The Buffalo Bills are the adults in this conference, or in this division. Miami has a better chance of riding their ship, even though they lost recently to the Arizona Cardinals. I think they got a better shot of making the playoffs as a wild card, or he's competing or contesting the Buffalo Bills for the AFC East division. But this is the Bills division to win outright. All right, and my final, what we learned this past week in the NFL. It's official. I am officially off the Anthony Richardson train, wagon, whatever you want to call it. I was already kind of climbing out anyway. I knew what I was getting into supporting this guy. Like, I knew that he wasn't a great, accurate thrower coming out of college. He didn't have a lot of games, but I just felt that the coaching that he was going to receive from Shane Steichen, the organization that he was going to, an organization that's been proven to kind of, what you call it, develop quarterbacks, especially high drafted quarterbacks. Now, they just lost recently to the Texans again. Now they're 0-2 in the season series, and the struggles for Anthony Richardson is real. I mean, he only completed 10 passes, folks. 10 passes. Now, I never played college football, never played professional football, never played quarterback, right? But I think, I don't know, man, like his accuracy is just so terrible. And to be a quarterback, nonetheless, it's a problem. It's a problem. And if you throw for 30 times and you only complete 10 passes, I don't care what kind of coaching you're going to receive. There's nothing that you can do to help that or remedy that. And honestly, that's not even why we're even talking about this guy today. The real reason I'm talking about him is because late in the third quarter, he was scrambling around, trying to make a play. And then he pulled himself out of the game. And he got up on the podium because they asked him, well, what happened? Why'd you tap out? Were you hurt? Were you injured? He literally flat out got on that podium later on in the afternoon and said, I got tired, flat out. Now, when I heard this, I was flabbergasted. I literally said to myself, for the most part, again, I didn't play quarterback at a high level. Never played quarterback in my life. Never played football at a high level, right? Other than high school, right? But I played high school pretty well, all right? But I always thought quarterbacks from an exertion level had it the best on the field. Linemen constantly battling in the trenches, wide receivers running out, going out, running routes, running back, same thing, maybe going out for a route, getting tackled. So I can see them maybe needing a blow, right? You see like Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, who's running over fools, Cam Newton back in the day, trucking guys. I don't think I've ever seen once in my life a quarterback tap himself out because he was tired. Now, let me know in the comments. Maybe I'm off. Maybe I'm just too old school. But how could he do that? And once I saw that and I heard about it, I was like, oh, that's it. I'm done. You're inaccurate. You're not effective. And now it shows me you got no heart, bro. Like you literally have no heart. How can you honestly tap yourself out? And then later on in the game, it was a close game. They only lost to what, 3 points? How can you go in that huddle, fourth quarter, 2 minutes left, look in the huddle and look at your guys in the eyes and say, guys, hey, listen, I need everything you got. Everything you got. I know you've been blocking your behinds off all game, but I need one more out of you. Give me all of you, right? Pause. Right? And they're looking at you like, fool, you tapped out in the third quarter because you were evading a sack. Come on, man. Honestly, the Colts, I don't think Shane Steichen wants to start this fool. It's the management there. They would be this is a terrible mistake if they continue to go down this road with Anthony Richardson, point blank. He is not an NFL quarterback at this point. And I will completely agree with that. I will sign off on that, co-sign it, whatever you need me to do, folks. And I think the rest of you guys can agree with me as well. This guy is not a quarterback in the National Football League. You are better off at Joe Flacco running and leading your offense, right? And I get it. Oh, well, he's a high pick. It don't matter, man. You got to move off of this guy and move off of him quickly because they got talent, man. Josh Downs is great. They got the other kid. What's his name? I forgot his name. The other receiver there. Pittman, right? Pittman Jr. Come on. What are we doing? What are we doing here? You're wasting your valuable talent and assets on a quarterback that cannot play. So what I learned this week about him is that he ain't it. And he's never going to be it. And the Colts just need to move on and continue to start Joe Flacco.